Welcome to HR from my shed with Julie from JGHR Solutions Limited. Today we're going to talk about holidays. How exciting. Normally we would encourage our employees to take their holiday entitlement, go off on holidays, come back refreshed hopefully, and start back into work. Now we have to think a little bit more when we're approving our holiday request, because could that break away cause the business for that person to have more time off? So I'm talking about isolation or quarantine here. So what can we do as employers to help that along? Well, we can communicate. We can make sure that we have knowledge of where our team are going and what are the risks to the business and what can we do with them? How can we support our employees to still have their holidays? So first of all, we should be encouraging our employees to have holidays. And when we're doing our request forms, when we're accepting them or our process, we can ask the question, where do you intend to go to? Is there a risk that you might have to quarantine afterwards? The answer to that might be, I don't know, because things are changing, aren't they? So they might not have to quarantine when they book the holiday or even when they go, but when they come back, they might have to. So the question is around planning. And how do we support the employee coming back? What can we do? Quite a few things. So first of all, we can make sure that the employee knows where they legally stand. So, if the law is that you can't travel to that place because of COVID rules, then they can't travel to that place. What we have to stress is if the government has said you have to quarantine for a period, you have to quarantine. You cannot come back into work. So employers, you cannot force anybody to come back into work. And employees, you have a duty of care here under the Health and Safety Act that you don't put your other colleagues at risk. So if you do go back into work, knowing that you should be in a quarantine period, you are breaking the law, and that is a disciplinary. Okay, so please don't do that. Please be aware of where you go and be aware of the rules. But let's talk about the nice things about what we can do. So we can talk to our employees and say, okay, well, let's have a plan in place in case you have to quarantine. And that plan is, have they got more holidays that they could take? So maybe let's rip up the holiday policy a little bit, whereas we usually say maximum of 2 weeks or maximum of 10 days can be taken. Let's maybe put the exception to the rule in here. Unless having to quarantine, you can use more holidays. Also, working from home, is that suitable? Yeah, so can we already pre-plan then? So before you go on holidays, are you set up for the option of working from home in case you have to quarantine when you come back? And the other option, which we try to avoid if possible, but it's there, is unpaid leave. But the bottom line is, if somebody has to quarantine, they cannot come into the workplace. There is no ifs and buts, there's no come in when nobody's about. There is absolutely, you cannot come in, and we cannot break that law. But we can do things to support our teams to make sure that they are getting their holidays and that they are abiding by government rules and, of course, the law. So check your processes, have a chat to your team, start bringing it into conversation now, into your team meetings by saying, let's be sure that we all know what we're doing and we can plan for the business, because it's a balancing act, isn't it? We're looking after our employees, but we have to make sure the business is safe and can carry on being productive. So talk holidays to your team. It's a nice topic to talk about, actually. So that's it from HR from my shed. I shall see you all soon. Take care.